Hi everyone, meet again with movie recap here. This time we will tell the story of an affair committed by his son-in-law in the family. But even though this is known to his in-laws, he still lets it because they both like to make love to beautiful women who are not his wife. This man named Rudolf works as a taxi driver who has many acquaintances of young girls around him. After dropping off his customers, he then picked up his son-in-law named Ondrej, who had been shopping for his son's birthday needs. Ondrej is a quiet and honest man with mediocre home life, in contrast to the life of his in-laws, Rudolf with his wife named Marta. After that, they celebrate the birthday of his son named Pavlik. That day Alice, who is the wife of Ondrej, was angry with him because he was a little late. After the birthday party was over, they went into each other's room before going to bed. Pavlik looked at the window of his grandparents' room, Rudolf and Marta. He saw the shadow of his grandparents who were making love. Pavlik asked his father because he thought that his grandparents were fighting. Ondrej lied to his son by saying that they were playing a game. In contrast to the marriage life of his in-law who were very exciting, Ondrej and his wife have monotonous life, especially in terms of lovemaking. His wife only wants to make love to him if she wants to have children. That night, Alice plans to have her second child, so they make love. But in love, they only do that thing without being accompanied by passion as in by their parents. Then the next day, when Ondrej was walking with his in-law, he also asked Rudolf what his secret in lovemaking was. Rudolf explained that when he was making love with his wife, he closed his eyes and imagined other girls he had met. Long story short, Ondrej and Alice are in a restaurant that is their restaurant. Their Ondrej plans to become a chef, but Alice forbids it because there is already a chef named Louis. Ondrej decided to become a chef because he felt Louis' cuisine was not good, causing the restaurant to be empty of customers. Even Ondrej told customers who come to look for another restaurant. In the evening, Ondrej again met his in-law at a nightclub. Shortly thereafter came a woman named Charlotte. Rudolf introduced her to Ondrej. There they drank and played billiard together. In that place, Rudolf showed his skills as a female conqueror in front of his son-in-law. When returning from the club, the weather was a bit cloudy and Charlotte was cold. Rudolf quickly lent Ondrej's suite to her, and they went alone while Ondrej went alone to his house. Before arriving at his home, Alice was seen taking a pregnancy test to determine if she was pregnant. Arriving home, Ondrej immediately put the pregnancy test in his mouth because he thought that it's a body temperature gauge. Alice also told Ondrej that the result remained negative even though they had tried many times. Alice also had time to check herself under the middle and she was fine. She began to become suspicious of Ondrej and invited her husband to check on her. Ondrej was immediately given a small container and directed to enter a room and told to remove his sperm. Ondrej also tried to think of things that can make him orgasm, and he thought of the beauty of the body of Charlotte. But the wife suddenly knocked on his door because the clinic was about to close and Ondrej didn't manage to remove his sperm. They returned to the restaurant for work. Alice felt a little disappointed with Ondrej and left the restaurant. And suddenly, that day, Charlotte came to see Ondrej in the restaurant on the grounds of wanting to reach the suite she borrowed while in the nightclub. But there is another intention. Charlotte apparently likes Ondrej and starts flirting with him. Ondrej actually also likes Charlotte and takes advantage of the opportunity to be alone by telling Louis to go home early.
Louis, dneska už se na to vykašli, stejně nikdo nepřijde.
Ondrej also cooks food for Charlotte. And in the end, they visited each other and Charlotte's house. They made love. When he returned home, Ondrej, this honest man, began to lie to his wife. He immediately took a bath, but when Alice checked her suite hanging outside, she found the woman's underwear in the suite. Alice interrogated him. Fortunately, Rudolf helped him by confessing his deeds with Charlotta. Martha and Alice were angry with him because they already knew that Rudolf was indeed playboy. Nevertheless, Martha remained attentive to Rudolf. She also explained to Alice that she had known about her husband's behavior for several years, but she didn't care about him. The next day, to atone for his guilt, Rudolf bought his wife a luxury bag. Getting this gift, she was happy, but on the way home, Martha had an accident and eventually died. On the other hand, Rudolf was preparing a surprise for Martha. And Rudolf had to accept the harsh reality that Martha was gone. Since the death of his wife, Rudolf looks very moody and sad. He always visited the place where his wife had an accident. In the midst of his solitude, Rudolf tried to be independent without wanting to trouble his daughter. But as a devoted daughter to her father, Alice planned to rent a servant to her father. She also told his father to go back to having fun, like playing in clubs and so on. Alice recounted that her late mother knew of her mischief and kept all the photos of the girl her father had slept with. Rudolf said he would never repeat it again. Long story short, Ondrej went to Charlotta's house and made love with her. And arriving home, Alice also asked Ondrej to make love, but the goal to take the sperm that will be sampled to be examined by the doctor. The next day, from the result of the examination, the doctor said that Ondrej was fine and looked very fertile. Then, because he was addicted to Charlotta, Ondrej also invited her to the lake on the edge of the forest. In the car, they also make love without them realizing that many teenagers are camping. Even their car moved and hit a tree there. Ondrej returned to his restaurant and met his wife. He reasoned that his car had an accident. Ondrej also plans to replace his minicar with a large car. But Alice says that their financial condition is unstable. But without discouragement, they began to work hard. Where Ondrej became a chef at his restaurant and made the first menu for his wife and in-laws. Feeling the delicious cuisine of Ondrej, Alice also realized that her husband had talent. After that, many customers came to the restaurant. And Ondrej managed to buy a new car that is certainly better. To test it, Ondrej returned to bring Charlotta and make love in the car. After returning to the restaurant, Ondrej continued it with Alice. Then Alice told her father about her husband's change. Hearing that, Rudolf was not surprised to know the secret of his son-in-law. But he wanted Ondrej to stop his affair, but Ondrej couldn't stop it. On Christmas Eve, Charlotta suddenly came to see Ondrej. He also felt very panicked and afraid of being caught by Alice. Then Ondrej pretended to take out the trash and met Charlotta in his yard. Charlotta just wants to say thank you because Ondrej has given her a shirt, even though it is small in size. When returning home and exchanging Christmas gifts, it turns out that Ondrej gave the exact same clothes to Alice. But it seemed that the shirt was changed because the dress Alice got was too big. The next day, Charlotta suddenly came to the restaurant, where she met Alice. Ondrej, who looked from the kitchen, felt very scared because he thought that Charlotta would reveal everything to the Alice. But it turns out that Charlotta wants to apply for a job as a waitress in the restaurant. And Alice agreed. Even Alice gave additional work to Charlotta, that is a servant of her father. Seeing that, Ondrej began to worry and silently came to Charlotta in her room. Once there, Charlotta even teased him and they returned to make love. Because their apartment is opposite, Alice looks at the window and thinks that her father is making love to Charlotta even though it is her own husband. On the other hand, Rudolf, who visited the scene of his wife's accident and brought the sprig of flowers. When he got there, he was very surprised because someone else had put flowers in that place. He also found out through Martha's diary and found evidence that previously Martha also turns out to have cheated with the plumber. Knowing that, Rudolf was very angry and looking for the man. But when he met, he saw that the man was a visually impaired plumber. Rudolf felt sorry and didn't become angry with him. He even invited the man to chat and ask how his love story with his wife. The next morning, Charlotta and Alice were taking clothes lines. Alice began to suspect Charlotta because he had the exact same dress as her husband on Christmas Eve. Furthermore, in the restaurant, she also noticed that Charlotta and Ondrej are always together. But on the other hand, it turns out that Alice also cheated with the former chef in the restaurant, Louis. That night, Charlotta and Ondrej will have dinner in a cafe. Suspicious, Alice followed her husband. There, Ondrej immediately told Charlotta that he wanted to end the relationship. Hearing that, Charlotta was very disappointed and very sad. While ordering food, Alice arrived at the place in order not to be caught. Ondrej also hid under the table. There, Charlotta reveals to Alice that she is pregnant. Alice wondered who the baby's father was. When the waiter delivered her food, Ondrej managed to sneak out of there, and on site, Ondrej met his in-laws Rudolf. And he told me that Charlotta was pregnant. Not wanting to see his daughter separated, Rudolf is forced to trick Alice and claim that he is father of the child. Charlotta couldn't say anything. Ondrej immediately went home and gave Alice a surprise. Alice also reveals to Ondrej that she is pregnant. A few months later, it was seen that Charlotta and Alice were heavily pregnant. Seeing that, Ondrej also thanked Rudolf for bearing some of his responsibilities, but Rudolf said he did it because he had sex with Charlotta. Ondrej was silent and the story ended. Okay, that's the story from the movie Men in Hope. Don't forget to like and share. Subscribe also if you haven't. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.